Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful day. This is Advanced Music Theory video number 5. Today, we're going to talk about passing chords. You may be wondering, what is a passing chord? Well, it's exactly kind of how it's named. You're using a chord that probably doesn't fit in the key or doesn't make any kind of harmonic sense to go from one chord to the other. So we'll talk about the ones that really don't have a good justification. They're just fun to use. And then we'll talk about a couple of my favorites that do have a music theory justification to them. Let's start with the ones that just, you do them because you like how it sounds. So, G major, my favorite key, that's the 1 chord. That's the 3 chord. Well, we're going to go 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, nothing too spicy. But let's say, going from that 3 to the 2, you want something in between there. One option is to simply play that same chord, half step down to your 2. So that 1 is just a passing chord. You're just passing by it to get to where you're going. You really don't care about that chord. You're not going to check in on it. You're just driving by it, throwing eggs at its house. That kind of thing. So let's kind of just noodle it a little bit and see what we think. I don't love it. You might like it, but it is an option, passing chord. Now you could get a little goofy and throw a major in there, in between. Let's check it out. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. I've never done it. So we got the 1, 3, I actually like the sound of that better than the last example. Okay, so that's just a chromatic passing chord. You throw a minor or a major in between and you see what happens. Now so the 5 chord down to the 4 chord, it's a major chord down to a major chord, right? Well, let's see what that sounds like when you throw something in between. So we'll pretend that's our 5, pretend that's our 4. Let's just put a major in between them and see what that's like. It's not bad. It's predictable, it's kind of like, yeah. But let's throw a minor in between them and see what that gets us. Again, I don't love it. I'm not crazy wild about chromatics anyway, but I could see where at times it might be fun to fool with. Okay, now let's get to the passing chords that have more justification to them. Now, follow me on this for a second because it's a little complicated, but it'll make sense when I'm done explaining it, right? There's your 3 chord. I know, I'm using the jazzy one. 3 chord. There's your 2 chord. Now, let's remember that whenever you're on a chord, you've got secondary chords that you can put in, like a secondary diminished, right? Just before that chord. Well, what if we pretend for a second, because we're using that secondary diminished to get back here, so in a way we're pretending that we're in harmonic minor, in a way, because now we've got this diminished chord happening on the 7 instead of the chord that should be there in a natural minor. Well, what if we think about that in reverse? Instead of using a diminished to go up to this, what if we use that harmonic minor 7 note to color that chord and head down? Well, what you get there is you get an augmented chord sonically. Now, if you were to see this on the written page, that note would actually probably be notated as A sharp, because harmonic minor of B would give you an A sharp. But we're thinking of it briefly as a B flat, because what we're doing is moving that root down to get us this augmented chord. Okay? So it's the inverse in a way of the diminished chord. You're borrowing the root of that secondary diminished chord to color this chord instead of creating this chord. It's a little weird, but it gets a cool result. We've got the 1, 3, pass on that root, 2, we're going to pass on the root again. Pretty cool. You get this chromatic run down, but it has this pretty little change. Now, on my way back up, you may have noticed that I did that. That's just our secondary diminished of the 2, but I didn't resolve to the 2. Skipped right over it, did the secondary diminished to the 3, and went to the 3. So, in this instance, the diminished of the 2 in a way would be a passing chord, because we're passing by it to go to that fella to get there. So that's passing chords. I mean, it's complicated in a way, but at the same time, once you know, like, okay, I know that sound, I know that it works, I know I enjoy it, you don't really need to know the theory behind it anymore. Now, if you enjoy thinking about that sort of thing, you absolutely can. But once you know the technique, once you know the chord shape, whether it be on a piano or a guitar or whatever instrument, once you know the placement, how to use it, you can essentially forget the theory behind it, because you don't need it anymore. All you need to know is how to do it, and you go from there, you know? So it's a cool little thing to have in your bag of tricks, you know? And you can do it from the 6 chord down to the 5 chord too. So in that case, you know, you've got minor with a minor 7, flatten that fella, but then you end up on a dominant chord, and then you go home. It's kind of cool. It's fun stuff, passing chords. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. It helps me out, but you don't gotta. I just appreciate you watching it and listening to me be goofy about stuff. Have a wonderful day. You're gonna do awesome.